Hey there, thanks for stopping by. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Robbie Greer from Rusticated-Art, and this is Fun Times Family Art. Where you get to sit and draw along with me in the comfort of your own home. Now this is the second part of our grid drawing, and if you've been following along, you won't find it difficult at all. It's really just a basic drawing, and we're using the grid to help us just to put things in the right place, that's all. Now be sure to stay through to the end, because not only will I be giving you plenty of helpful hints and tips and techniques that I've learned along the way, but also I'll be giving a shout out to another very special channel. And who knows, that channel could be yours. So what do you reckon? You ready to get started? Well, come on then. Alright, so this is just a follow on from last week, and today we're just going to start shading it in, putting little bits and things, there's little bolts, nuts, and give it a bit of character, a bit more texture. There's a nail in here. Really do want to do a little bit more detail in this one, and I might even start using my little cutout so we can focus on one square at a time. I mean, don't really need to do that, but it's just to show you how we can get it a little bit more realistic, I guess. And even though I don't usually try and follow, well, I don't follow the reference photo exactly to the T, you know, I only use it as a guidance or as a guide. Okay, now to start with, there's always adjustments that are going to have to be made. That's just the nature of it, you know. So when we look at our reference, and I'm only using this because we need to have some sort of a guide. Now that actually comes up about there. So it comes over a bit further than what we had originally, but that's always going to be the case. That's always going to be the case in the sense that we're going to rub things out, they're not quite where we thought they were, or it's just part of the process. And it pays to get it all right to start with, so that when you're getting into it and you find there is a mistake, it just makes it easier to sort it as you go. Right, now when we look at this here, I might just bring it in a little bit, not too far, but just a little bit, just while we do this piece here. So this is the area we're going to be focusing on. Now there is the outside of that post. It comes down here like this. Now that there's wrong, so we'll take that out now because we moved it all over. Brush away the crumb, put that back on there, and away we go. So we're below that line, so we're in about the middle, coming down here, and then this one here down to about halfway. In the middle here, there's knot going on there. I'm not saying a lot at the moment, I'm just trying to sort of concentrate on what I'm doing here. You'll see when you're looking at the grain, although we're just doing it, you know, drawing on the paper, and we're not getting any dimension at all to it, but that's all right. All we're doing at the moment is we're just putting everything, you know, roughly where it's supposed to go. Right, a bit like that. Right, now realistically down here, this one here comes through to about there, and then there's another line that comes down here, rubbing out as we go, and then there's another, there's just little lines down here. There's sort of a different texture in here compared to here. So from here down it's sort of quite brown, and it's a lot lighter. So this is all lighter and this is all darker. That's because some of the post has come away. So it sort of comes down. Just putting down a bit of graphite. And like I say, we just take it out as we go. Now, I'm just going to come in here with my blending stump because we've got to define all this, so I just want to come in here, and it might be just about time to put a few darks in here now. Right, so we'll put this gap in here between the gate and the post. Darken now. I'm using a 6B. I won't go right to the bottom because we're actually going to put a little bit in the bottom there. I'll come down this side though. I find the darker the pencil, the more grainy it gets. That's just, I guess that's just the joys of working with graphite. You want to go real dark. Just smooth it out a little wee bit. I can use some of that graphite on here. Right, now I'm just going to put in the darker lines. Because every time you blend, it smooths everything out. You know, you're pushing the graphite around. So now I'm going over with my blending brush, and I'm going to use my Tombow eraser. I'm just going to take some graphite out. And this is how you create that texture that, like, it looks like there's little ruts in the wood, which there is. And then we go back in again. Little sort of like shard, jagged pieces, creating a little bit of depth. Try and create a bit of a cleaner lines, because they get blurry because we go over it so many times and they get blurred. That's all right. Take a bit more out, put a bit more in. Well, basically what I'm doing right now is I want to just concentrate on the post. We'll get that all finished up, get it to a point where it just needs a fine tune. So I'm just going in there because on this post there's these very hard to see, but it's just like heaps and heaps of little lines in there, just little wrinkles, I guess, that are on the skin. It's very fine lines, just like age lines. Now not so much down here, because down here it's like, you know, a layer of the wood has come off, broken away. I mean, I don't know how old this is. It's got to be really old though. Just get to the point where all we've got left to do is just do the fine tuning. And then I'll get my blending brush and just give it a very light going over. We don't want to push that around too much, we just want to soften it a little bit. Now we've got it to the point where this is the fine tuning, as I said before, to be done. But it's a continuation, or it's a build up of layers. Putting down graphite, taking it off. Putting down graphite, taking it off. Blending it, taking it off. Putting more, you know, it's slowly building up the layers. That's how we do it. I might just get these hinges done now, and that might be enough for today, because it's actually taking a bit longer than I thought it was going to. I'm probably making it a bit more detailed than I need to. But anyway, I don't mind if you don't. I'm enjoying it. It's quite dark there, so you can actually see the end of the hinge there. Just putting in a bit of shading, just really I'm just sort of backwards and forwards, because what I'm really doing is just trying to create a rusty sort of a texture. And we've got a little bolt there. Well, it's either a bolt or the nut. It's hard to sort of know, it's sort of all rusted in there. Let's say it's the nut. And we've got another one there. And there's a little hole there. And we've got another nut on the end there. Now I'm going to turn this around. And we'll just shade this in. I'll just try 0.20. Well, no, it's not a 0.2, it's a 2 mil HB lead on that. So we'll just cover a bit more area, and I might be able to just create a bit more texture. Now, I think we need something a bit darker than that, so I'll go back to my mechanical pencil. And we'll just do it darker along the side here, just to give it a bit more depth. so much the top. The top I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger, that's all. Make the hinge a bit bigger, but just blocking it in. Well, that's really what we're doing, just blocking it. Making it look a bit splotchy. We'll come back to all that. Now, do the bottom hinge. And once again, that's quite a rusty old hinge, and it is different from the top one. And I think that's what they used to do, you know, just whatever they had. It wasn't like they could just run down the shop and buy a new one. So they made do with what they had. That's how the old pioneers used to do it. I'm a bit like that myself. I do a lot of building around here. I just, you know, putting in pathways, and I love working in my workshop. I don't get much chance these days trying to produce these videos, but I hate throwing anything away. Little bits of timber here and there, or bits of hardwood, I'll hang on to them. Most of the time I'll find a use for them. And then once again we can just see that there as well. Well, I really think that'll do us for today. Like I said, it's taken a bit longer than I thought it was going to, but I'm actually enjoying it. And the thing is, we're sort of, well, it is, you know, it's a basic drawing. It's nothing too complicated about it. And like anything else, you know, when we're drawing, we can put as much into it or as little into it as we want. And this is one of those, we're sort of getting to the stage now after the time that we've spent, you know, coming from right from the beginning of the series to now, where we're sort of progressing a little bit more as far as getting, you know, a bit more detail into our work. So we spend a bit more time on them. I think that'll do us for today. Well, thanks for watching to the end. You know, I really appreciate that. And I hope you're enjoying it just as much as I'm enjoying sharing it with you. Drawings don't have to be hard. If we start just with the basics, and this particular drawing now being a grid drawing, so we've already got the grid there, so all we're doing is just putting the picture where the grid says to put it. And we don't follow it to the T, no. We don't need to, it's just a guide to help us. And if we just take our time, slowly working away, you'll get there. Believe me, it's just a matter of using the 3 P's. Patience, perseverance, and practice. That's all it takes. Now, this week's shout out goes to Tim Kirkland. Now Tim, he's got a channel all about making cocktails. He got some really good cocktails. And this is his channel here. Tim Kirkland, that's him. And he's also got his playlist, all his different kind of music, some really good music. Bit of soul music there. Chaka Khan, Stephanie Mills, you know, all the good old time music. Well, it was not really that old time, but it was good music. I remember it well. But his main focus is mixing all these different kinds of cocktails. And most of them I've never heard of, but they look really nice. I'm not much of a cocktail man myself. I prefer a cold beer and a nice glass of wine. But anyway, go and check his channel out, because I'll tell you what, you're really going to enjoy it. He's a funny man. I enjoy his sense of humour. Well, that's about it for this week. So be sure to come back next week, and hopefully I don't know if we're going to get it finished, but we'll get close to it anyway. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.